Welcome to Still with Purpose. This is Amanda and Christy.
Our goal is to dig deep and discuss real, raw subjects in pursuit of greater self-awareness, positive transformation and healing, and to link arms and journey with you to find purpose and passion in life. Welcome back again, everyone. Today, we're talking about the question, did you know you're attracting what you believe? Amanda, what is our quote?
All right. When you understand the world mirrors your mindset and beliefs, you'll know it's not others against you, it's you against you. Ouch. Let's unpack that one. That's one you should definitely read a couple times because it doesn't really make sense when the first reading is done. Basically, I'll give an example of my past when I was really in a lot of pain around men in general, and I've come a long way. My beliefs were all men are liars, they aren't reliable, they're selfish, they're mean, and only want one thing. That is exactly what I will attract more examples of so that I can be right about my belief in men. So it just creates this cyclical cycle. And believe me, I did, in fact, attract all of that and more over and over again. When I went through my second divorce, I had to slowly heal and look in the mirror. And it was extremely painful because I'm obviously the common denominator of my relationships. And I had to come to terms with that my beliefs about men, although quite factual, because I attracted exactly what I believed, were not the truth of all men. Also, as a mom of two young men, I knew I had to kill off this attitude and judgment, or else I was going to kill off a chance of having a really healthy relationship with my boys. That's what really shifted me when I realized that I was going to affect them and possibly create the types of men that I didn't like to be around. Why would I want to create that in my boys? So that was a wake-up call for me for sure. I just couldn't imagine speaking that death over these sweet young men. They are going to do exactly what I tell them is a man as a single mom. And that was a huge responsibility. So that is one of the reasons, besides my own personal healing, was to really look at how I'm going to raise my boys. And it was sobering for sure.
It makes you wonder, though, some of the men that you attracted, how were they raised? Did they have people with maybe the same beliefs and they turned into what was expected of them, perhaps?
I would say in general, they had mom issues and had some pretty nasty beliefs about women. And so we attracted each other. And it's just a cesspool of disrespect all around for sure. So if you stop and really ask yourself, do I have a hatred for the opposite sex or the respect issues? If so, where did that come from? Do the work. Figure out where you learned that hatred.
It may not even be hatred, because I would think that maybe some of the issues come out later on in a relationship when you've shown that you can show love and you can show respect, but it's maybe the more difficult times. There's some belief that comes out of nowhere. So it's not even hatred. It's just underlying maybe disrespect or something that's not as evident until later on.
The hard part, we've talked about this before, probably just between you and I, it's so hard to make the changes when you've shown someone how to treat you and you've treated them a certain way. It's very hard to redo that. It's very hard to come from a clean slate and say, this is disrespectful to me and I will no longer be speaking to you this way. That's a lot of work to shift that around when you got so comfortable, but it's worth it. It's worth making the change.
At work, we would say that's a heavy lift. That's a hard job.
And is it worth your relationship? That's a choice between the two people. And if you're in a new relationship with a new human, are you going to imprint those beliefs onto that new person?
If you are starting from scratch in a relationship, you're probably going to make sure that you're not attracting that same type of person if you're healing yourself.
Yeah. So you have to be hyper vigilant on everything that comes out of your mouth and your actions so that you're not attracting that personality again. Also, when you've made this shift, that's your new normal. Now you're not even attracted to the disrespectful type of guy for me. I'm not attracted to the highly disrespectful men that have mom issues anymore. I'm just like, cool, you do you, buddy, because that's not the energy I'm going to hang around. It's just so great. Just to really encourage you guys, you will know that you've shifted and done some healing when you get different feedback.
Or you desire different things. You no longer want to be around that same type of energy or attitude.
You're sick and tired of being sick and tired.
And maybe before not even being aware that that's what you were choosing to be around. So just the awareness that you're making a choice now not to.
Let's reverse roles for a minute. So if a guy told me that I was a liar, not reliable, selfish, what would I create with that? I would lift up the low bar that he has set for me and be stubborn and not try and jump over that. Because if that's the box you already have me in, I am not going to try and prove you wrong. That's important to understand as well. But as a healing people pleaser and anxious attachment style, I would toil and give a ton of effort to prove you wrong, that I'm actually a great person and you should see that.
And that's exhausting and a waste of our time and energy.
Yes.
And as a healing person, that goes back to that awareness that you're not choosing to be around that anymore. And so I personally would walk away and say, have a great life, go on your merry way.
Yep, I'm choosing out. So if you truly feel stuck and in shame and guilt, out of integrity and not liking where you're truly at, you have to take an inventory of your life. What's going well? What needs to change immediately? What needs to change in you? Because you can't change others. You are exactly here today because of all your choices, beliefs, attitudes, and more. The world is just mirroring exactly what you are putting out there. And that's a painful sentence to accept, because if I don't like my life, I'm creating that. And going back to the quote, it's not the world against you, it's you against you.
It's the opposite of that saying, it's not you, it's me. No, it's not me, it's you.
And there's also that quote of, I love this one, you see the world as you are, not as the world is. Because if you're a bitter, angry person, what do you see?
Bitterness and anger.
If you're looking for love and cherishing deep relationships, you see them everywhere. And that's what shifted for me as I started healing around men. And then I started attracting all these fantastic, secure, grounded, loving, kind, protective men. And I'm surrounded by them now. And so when the black goat comes in through the side door, I'm just like, I'm good. Sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I'll totally choose in, hey, what you doing? Let's go down memory lane with my old self. But it doesn't last long anymore. And I really do catch myself a lot faster. Instead of being in a 14-year relationship, was down to 3 years. Now it will just be a super healthy relationship, because that's what I'm committed to attracting.
That's really good, though, that you see the world as you are. That's a really good quote to remember.
It's huge. I love that quote. And since we can only change ourselves and you don't like how the world is treating you, look at your reflection, your reactions, your attitudes, your ingratitude, and your fear. And when I'm in fear, I'm really actually mad I don't have something or can't control the situation. So control is an illusion and a delusional stance, because we absolutely have no control over anything except ourselves. And even that's questionable.
And honestly, there's less fear when I get rid of that expectation that I can be in control. Even self-control, realizing that I need God's guidance and strength to avoid, well, big or little, but especially the little things daily, like selfish attitudes or showing anger or frustration. If I'm in control, then I'm going to show those things easily. But if I rely on God's strength and guidance, and we talk about it all the time, make sure I have my quiet time, make sure I meditate on God's word, and it's so much easier. But that's not me being in control. I feel like that's me saying, God, you got to help me, you got to do it for me.
And that's going back to last week, is get your heart right, and then all your actions will show where your heart's at. Yeah, so get out into the wilderness if you really want to find out how small you are. I know I felt that way when I was on the back bowls of Vale and completely exhausted and could not find the right chairlift back over the other side of the mountain. I thought I was going to die out there. And that's a time time in my life that I'll never forget because I know how small I was. But ponder this for a second. Think about how long it has taken you to change one thing about yourself. You cannot expect people to change for you, and they have to want it for themselves.
I'd add to that, until you're striving to please God and strengthen your relationship with God, it's not even changing for yourself. It's probably not even powerful enough to cause change. Until you're ready to have a clear relationship with God and that's what you're striving for and that's why you want to make change, it's probably not as likely to happen.
That's a solid thought because ultimately He's the only one that changes us. He does the work inside of us, and we come at Him with a willing heart that we actually want to change.
I think that's our part in it.
He just does it somehow, and eventually we figure it out. But we cannot expect humans. There's so many humans that do not care about how their actions are affecting the world. So we can't control that.
And as selfish as we are as humans, so if I was to say, I want you to change for me to another human, they'd probably internally scoff at that. And then for themselves, if they're saying, I want to change for me, that's probably a little more motivating because we're also selfish. Like I'm doing it for me. But even then, I don't think that we're capable. Like you're saying, it requires God to do the changing of our hearts for us. And we just have to be willing and asking for it to the place of surrendering and humility.
Repentant of this is not working for me. This is a dumpster fire. And I absolutely need your help in this.
And repentant in that I've hurt other people and I'll continue to hurt other people unless I change.
And I'm tired of all the loss.
And tired of not bringing my true self and my true gifts to others, the loss of myself to the world too.
I've counterfeited myself and now my gifts are not relevant because I've chosen my counterfeit. So when you make these changes, you start repelling the old people that you used to attract. And it's really cool. It's really great feedback to see that now you're just surrounded by cool humans that are like-minded and wanting to make shifts and really making the choice to work on themselves. And then you come together and as a whole, both or all walking in your gifts. It's a really beautiful thing. So let's talk about some practical ways to notice what your environment is reflecting back to you. Some of the questions you can ask yourself to just see where you're at with all of this. What's the hardest situation you're dealing with people right now? What is triggering you about it? Do you feel seen, heard, and understood? Are you people pleasing? Are you exhausted trying to earn the love and respect from someone in your life that might not ever give it? Do any of them remind you of your mom and dad's treatment?
Your mom or dad or other significant person in your life's treatment?
Have you falsely labeled others because of your past pain? If you are really brave, ask some of these people what their experience of you is. So basically the empowerment comes when you see it's not you versus them, it's you versus the old you. This is massive and life-changing. Just that awareness. After I made some major shifts and took ownership for my part in a failed relationship, I was able to rewrite the story about men that I had.
It's been so great for me just seeing the types of new friends that I've made, that I've attracted into my life after making some shifts. Most gracious and thoughtful people and people that make my heart happy.
So let's read the quote one more time because it's a meaty one. When you understand the world mirrors your mindset and beliefs, you'll know it's not others against you, it's you against you. So really ponder on that this week. And do you want to talk about some of our reflection questions?
So this week, journal on what is life reflecting back to you right now? Are you ready to shift what you've been attracting? And what's one area you're ready to change?
We'd love to see you on our Facebook page and share some of your thoughts on your finds and ahas.
See you next week, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us today. We know your time is valuable and we hope you have a phenomenal week.
Until our next episode, find more content and social links at stillwithpurpose.com.